don't generally often associate men as having weight loss issues, but it would seem that hormone imbalances could be playing a potential role in making losing weight a challenge. So to chat to us more about hormone optimization and how it can assist is Dr. Mark Opperman from the T Clinic. Now, Mark, just remind us again, the hormones that are involved in weight gain and weight loss, it's not so much that the hormones are involved in the gain and loss, but the way we react to food and the way we stop eating when we become full, and the messaging that's going around our body. Tell us about that system and how it works.
Michael, I think the first thing that we need to understand about weight is that it's got everything to do with your energy metabolism. And when we look at energy metabolism, we're looking at glucose and fat, which the body uses as energy, its transportation throughout the body, and the hormones and systems that's involved there. And then actually when this energy, glucose or fat, gets to the cell, how it's being utilized to create usable energy for the body in the form of ATP.
Okay.
So here we are looking at your glucose and glucose metabolism, and the hormone that's incredibly important there is insulin. Think about your glucose as the energy source, raw energy source. So let's think about coal, and we need to get the coal out of the blood, that energy out of the blood into the cell, your power station, where it can be transformed into usable energy, let's say electricity.
Right.
To do that, you need to have an effective transport mechanism, and here insulin plays a role. Okay, so once it's inside the cell, it goes into your mitochondria and your Krebs cycle, and we've discussed this on various different occasions with various of the guests about the Krebs cycle, where the energy in the form of glucose is now burned to create ATP, and for that you need your thyroid hormone.
Right.
So when we look at energy metabolism, or for that matter, at most of our hormone systems, there's a triad that's involved. And it starts in the brain with your pituitary gland, and the two big hormone systems that are involved is the adrenal system, and then what happens in your pancreas, especially when it comes to weight. And your pancreas is responsible for forming insulin,
Yes.
and therefore glucose transport and glucose metabolism and the production of energy. And if there's an imbalance here, you have a problem.
Okay.
Now, I want to stress the following. Weight loss is probably one of the biggest problems that we have today. The World Health Organization classified obesity as a chronic disease. It's a disease, and your hormones play an important role in managing this. So often people thought that weight loss is a thing of willpower. I'm not going to eat, I'm not going to eat. Actually, it's got everything to do with biology.
Right.
So biology and physiology. Physiology, your hormone systems. Biology, actually the organisms that stay in your gut. Why? Because they metabolize not only your food, but your hormones.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Mark, in terms of hormone optimization for weight loss specifically, I mean, what you've just told us, there's a system that works, and there's an interplay between one hormone and the next and the next and the next, which utilizes the food that we eat and the energy created by it. Now, is optimizing hormones going to have a direct impact on your ability to lose weight? Is it enough to optimize hormones, or do we need to be looking at lifestyle factors as well?
Michael, lifestyle change is paramount. That's where you start. And if you're not going to do this, you're going to fail no matter what we do on your hormone systems. It doesn't help that you have optimal functioning of systems but you overfeed it. And that's simple. So if we look at what happens with weight gain, there's an excessive amount of energy that's being stored in our readily available or readily accessible warehouses,
Right.
and that's your fat cells. So if you take in too many carbohydrates, which all in some way or another convert into glucose, or you take in excessive amounts of fat or even protein, which converts into fat, you're going to start storing excess energy everywhere. This is in fat cells, this is in your liver, which leads to dysregulation of your liver enzymes and liver function. You're going to start storing this in muscle. And again, you know what, that leads to a dysregulation everywhere. Hormone balancing plays an integral role in optimizing transport and burning of glucose and fat, but it's definitely not the beginning and end. It's you start with lifestyle changes.
Right.
Healthy diet, which means it's balanced, and then moderate activity. If you're not active, I can put you on any kind of hormone replacement. It's not going to help.
Yeah.
Today, there's new types of medication which was specifically developed for diabetics to manage glucose and insulin metabolism. And lo and behold, it suddenly had an effect on another hormone called ghrelin, which is secreted by the stomach, and it stimulates the satiety center in the brain to tell you that, you know what, you had enough to eat. But if you, if we use that medication without incorporating the necessary lifestyle changes, you override these metabolic signals and chemical messages that you have. So it's difficult to get right, but there are definitely a place for optimization, not only on insulin and thyroid, but things like testosterone. In previous episodes, we spoke about the effect of testosterone, for instance, on motivation.
Yes, absolutely.
It elevates dopamine levels. And when dopamine elevates, you get that motivation, reward, repetitive behavior. So optimizing you on that level, where you actually feel like, I want to get up in the moment.
It's like get up and go, literally.
I want to start being physically active. You know what, that goes a long way. So often do I have patients in my office that say, you know what, I just don't have the energy to do anything. So, you know what, or they do something and they don't see the results, and then you become demotivated and okay, you know what, I give up. I'd rather be fat. And I was there.
Yeah,
so
I think it's so easy to slip into that cycle.
Yeah,
But if you've got the motivation, that little push that drives you forward, it makes everything that much easier. And Mark, what about age? I mean, how does age impact the ability of the body to sort of process that energy, the change in hormone levels of various hormone types as you age, all of those elements, and the fact that men tend to pick up weight as they age, and it becomes harder to lose?
Michael, it's very simple. There's a natural ebb and flow to life. You know what? You start out young, and sorry for us all, you and me, but you're really at your prime at the age of 19, where everything is just balanced, it's functioning optimally. And as we get older, these systems just start breaking down. You know what, it's like buying a new car. There's a period of time in which you actually drive in the car, okay? And then you see, oh my God, the optimal performance. And if you don't maintain that, it starts breaking down and the efficiency of the engine, etc., starts declining. Now, the human body works exactly the same way. Metabolic processes start shutting down as we go into senescence, where things just stop. We don't live forever. And that's a natural progress. So as we get older, things start working less effectively, and therefore these metabolic pathways start slowing down, and now there's a progression to weight loss and all the other diseases of aging. I actually want to include weight gain as one of the most manageable conditions. Why? Because if you are active, if you live a healthy lifestyle and not overindulge in things that are bad for us, and we all know what they are.
Yes, yeah.
You slow down aging and you prevent the diseases of aging like hypertension, diabetes, elevated cholesterol levels, cognitive decline, and weight gain.
Absolutely. And with some optimization of the systems and the hormones that you are working with, it means you can extend that even further.
I think a lot of people don't understand that there's so many things that can go wrong when you start gaining weight. I looked at one of the previous episodes with Dr. Paulo, where he spoke about the connection between obesity and iron deficiency. Now, the problem with iron that's deficient when you're obese is you switch off your thyroid metabolism.
Right.
Your thyroid's dependent on iron. So it's a egg chicken thing. Which came first? Is it the iron deficiency that leads to obesity, or is it obesity that leads to iron deficiency? Same thing. If you have too much glucose in your blood, you are going to start raising insulin. But insulin is a stress hormone, and that will then increase cortisol. And what cortisol does is it releases more glucose out of your temporary storage into your blood, which elevates insulin levels.
Yes.
The other thing that people forget is what happens during stress. Stress, the immediate stress reaction is that you elevate adrenaline. And adrenaline is going to push glucose and fat into the blood. Now, if you keep on being stressed the whole time, that becomes permanent. The second phase of stress is again cortisol.
Absolutely.
So, it's
the system
you
that we've
need
got
a
to be
healthy
looking at.
lifestyle,
Yeah.
and it's becoming more and more difficult for us to maintain that because of what's happening around us.
Absolutely.
So lifestyle change is imperative. You need to balance not only what you eat, but what you do, how you sleep, how you stress, etc., etc.
Wonderful. Mark, thank you so much. Some great insights there. People who want to get some more info from you or to explore the option further of hormone replacement therapy, where can they get hold of you?
Our website, www.tclinic.com. Follow the links. There's a quiz, blah, blah, blah. And our telephone number 010-824-1393.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mark. Great to have you with us again.